ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
It is Wednesday, June 12th. Good afternoon. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Thanks for being a part of the show today. We've got a jam-packed show for you today. We've got Coldcats recap. Coldcats are winning. Everything's looking good over at Jack Cook Field. They're back on the air tonight, 6:50, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We'll recap a little bit of what happened yesterday. We've got comments from Tommy Gregg. We'll get those here before the end of the show and before the game tonight. Jason Toy, Woody Woodrum's going to have all the play-by-play action. So if you missed the game last night, you got another chance tonight. And if you can't go, of course, we got you covered right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We've got comments from Chris Grassie. And we're also going to hear from Greg Beals. They got extensions today, and so we were over at Marshall University, sort of a state of the athletic department. So we'll hear a little bit from Beals. We got plenty to get into with him. So we're going to hear from him just a little bit today, but more so over the rest of the week. We're going to hear a little bit from Chris Grassie, what he had to say. We're going to hear from Christian Spears throughout the next couple of days, but I've got his State of the Athletic Department address. We're going to hear that in its entirety in a couple of minutes. And then later on in the program, we're going to hear from Ari Aganus. The volleyball schedule's out. A lot of positive things are happening with the volleyball program, so we're going to get to that. And, of course, I'm going to fire up the text machine right now, and you can load it up, 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. So today was the day. We talked about it yesterday, the State of the Address, State of the Athletic Department address, to be a little bit more specific. And, of course, the big reason we were there, first of all, was the fact that Chris Grassie's getting an extension. We talked about that. That kind of came out, but it's more official now than ever. I mean, you have coaches that talk about things, and they talk to boosters at these events, and that gets reported on, and that gets out. But this is official, so he gets an extension. And then Greg Beals gets an extension as well. And you're thinking to yourself, well, he hasn't even been here a couple of years, so how come he's getting an extension? So we're going to go over all of that with you, but I thought it was interesting, to say the least, that when Beals talked about his vision, the whole idea of the extension really played into it because he wants to try to develop more of a the transfer portal is where we all go to. Hey, let's get this team built. Well, we got to go to the transfer portal. Now, he wants to flip that. He wants to rely more on the recruiting process, bring kids in, develop them, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. He wants to go through that whole idea of, hey, let's bring some players in, let's develop them, let's go ahead and try to build this team the right way. So he's already 2 seasons in, a 5-year deal. So his contract extends by 2 years through 2029. And Chris Grassie, his contract is extended through the 2031 season. That's going to be pretty much like a 6-year extension that was set to expire in 2025. So he's now through the 2031 season. So a lot, hopefully, championship soccer is still to be played for the Thundering Herd. And it's just a testament to what he's been able to do for the program. And he has a lot of belief in what's happening at Marshall University. So I thought that was a good get. And I asked him a little bit later on, hey, was this something that you approached the university about? Did the university become a little bit more aggressive and say, hey, look, we want to retain you. This is what that looks like with our package. We're trying to get all the details. We don't have the details just yet of like what the packages are for these coaches. We'll get some of that and we'll relay that to you as we can. But Christian Spears earlier today speaking to the media, and he didn't speak long, so I'm going to give you the entirety of his address. It's only a few minutes, so I felt like I think that's okay. That's long enough. We can listen to him, give you some context, and then we'll hear a little bit from Chris Grassie later on. We'll hear a little bit from Greg Beals. And, of course, we're going to hear later on the program about what's happening with the Colecats. The Colecats get the victory yesterday. They take on the Flyboys again tonight. And, again, that game coming up 6:50 right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. But here's Christian Spears. And let me qualify this by saying when we found out that he was going to address the media, we got the heads up on this. It wasn't necessarily telegraphed to us that, okay, it's going to also have Chris Grassie there. It's also going to have Greg Beals there. But as the Board of Governors were meeting and the regular process, we kind of figured out, okay, it's going to be those guys that are there, and he's going to address that. But he talked about a few more things as well in his remarks. So let me give you that in its entirety. This is about 4.5 minutes, give or take. And here's Christian Spears just laying down the foundation, what the summer update looks like for Marshall athletics.
These Marshall moments are pretty special when you're able to do some things with key people who bring their families and involve them in everything that we do and announce a direction for our future that is so evident. What's happened with men's soccer, with Chris Grassie. Chris literally has gotten us to a point where we, as a community, believe that anything is possible here in Huntington, West Virginia, because of what he's done on the pitch. That belief system extends beyond the soccer field and into our community, which is so rare and so special. So I'm so excited about what we're going to announce here for Chris. And then Greg did something that we've been waiting 60 to 100 years for, some say. His fingerprints are all over that ballpark. I can tell you, as someone who was involved in building that ballpark, Coach Beals had so much to do with how it turned out, what it has become, and the symbol it means for our future and for our community, and then what he'll do with the student athletes that he serves in that venue, for the duration of the time that he's with us. And super excited about him and his extension. But let's talk quickly about the state of our athletic program. We finished 5th in the all-sports trophy that the Sun Belt Conference provides to the 14 member institutions that participate in our league. And, that was up from 10th last year. So, I don't want to be 5th in anything. This community doesn't want to be 5th in anything. So we've got our work cut out for us. But you can see where we're going. We are on the rise. And so much of it is to do with the leadership of Brad Smith, our Board of Governors, the decisions that they made today to extend these 2 coaches. So if you all hang in there with us, we are going to make you so proud because we are on our way to something extraordinary. And so much of it has to do with the way this community embraces our athletic program. Some really fun initiatives that are coming back. I don't know if you guys remember This Home is Heard. We launched that our first year here together. It's just a way for you to identify that you care about where our football program is going, where our athletic program is going, and you identify that your home is heard. And we'll put a yard sign in there. Please pick those up at United Bank. They're our partner on this initiative, and display them proudly. And then we're going to come up with some really fun initiatives on how to get you all involved. The first year we had Coach Grassie deliver some tickets to some fans that pledge their home is heard. And we'll figure out other unique ways to continue that involvement. We have a really special initiative called Be Her, which is happening on July 21st. It's a First Lady initiative along with our Big Green. They are trying to do everything they can to continue the rise of our women's sports programs. And they're having a very special event with an unbelievable keynote speaker named Cindy Carlisle, a Marshall alum who ran track and field here, who's just been appointed the number 2 at Foot Locker. And just how special she is and what being a female student athlete at Marshall meant to her and her career and how it can launch other young women into similar situations. So I hope you'll find your way to the Be Her event. Football is underway and we're right in the thick of it. And, we need as many people to be involved in this program as possible. Fill the Joan. So we've done incredibly well with season tickets so far. The Ohio State game had a lot to do with it. We tagged in renew your season tickets and have an opportunity to come with us to Ohio State. We got 5,000 tickets from Ohio State. Those went quick. So our fans responded. So we're going to throw out a little quick challenge. The first 10 people who haven't purchased their season tickets, we're going to put you in a drawing to join us at Virginia Tech. We'll make that a really special experience. So I hope you'll find your way online to buy football season tickets. And Ryan Crisp will let us know who won that first 10 call, and we'll go from there. Men's soccer, we've added 250 seats to our venue, not just to manage the 7-year contract extension for Chris Grassie, but because this community cares so holistically about that program. We had 5 sellouts last year, and we expect that to continue, and we want more fans to see the program that Chris has built, that we are building together, that's going to be so special for us for so long. Hopefully you can do that. And, women's soccer is on the rise with what Rafa and one of Chris' mentees has been able to accomplish in a short period of time. New energy, new enthusiasm, new efforts, as well as our volleyball program. Those 2 programs go on sale here. It's time for us to help those programs build the fan bases that they deserve.
And as Christian Spears ended on that note, we're going to have Ari Aganus on with us here about 5:30, so we'll talk to her in a few minutes about season ticket opportunities, the schedule, and just a kind of an overview of the program. So she's joining us at 5:30. We're going to hear a little bit more later on from Chris Grassie. Of course, Spears mentioned more seats. You got to pay for that extension, right? Well, Grassie's contract is going to have an annual base salary of $400,000. He's now the second highest paid Division I men's soccer coach in the country, behind Clemson's Mike Noonan. I believe Luke Creasy was the first one to suss those numbers out, so we give credit to Luke on that from HD Media. The Thundering Herd has amassed an impressive 85 win, 35 loss, and 17 tie record. Thundering Herd, of course, one of the most prestigious programs in the Sun Belt, including that national championship. You get to wear that star on the logo. I don't know if we'll get to it today, but Greg Beals even joked about it. He's like, hey, look, I don't have a star next to my logo here. We're still working. We're still building. He was just pretty emotional about the whole idea that he gets an extension, and he's sharing the same stage today with the head coach of the soccer team, Chris Grassie. So we'll hear a little bit more from those two. We're going to hear somewhat from the Coldcats manager, the one and only Tommy Gregg. He will have his team ready, hopefully, to win again tonight, and that game's coming up on the radio. 6:50 p.m. right here, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Quick timeout. We come back. We'll hear a little bit from Tommy Gregg. We'll get his thoughts on the game last night, and we'll look ahead to what's happening with the Coldcats. And then Ari Aganus joins us at 6:30. We'll talk to her about the state of her program. We'll hear from Chris Grassie. We'll hear from you. Text lines 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up here on The Drive, ESPN 94.1 at AM 930.
Giovanni's Pizza. Fresh, hot, and tasty. Have it delivered right to your door. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Cremines King Funeral Home of Racine, Gallipolis, and Pomeroy, Ohio. Here to assist you in your time of need. Baum Lumber, your place for quality roof trusses, building materials, hot spring spas, lawn equipment, and more. BaumLumber.com.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage. There was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call Select Quote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Get everything you need for your next project today at Menards and save big money. LP SmartSide products are the #1 brand of engineered wood siding. SmartSide Trim and Siding offers long-lasting performance and delivers the warmth and beauty of traditional wood. Save big money today at Menards and LP SmartSide products. Plus, visit Menards.com to view the weekly flyer and check out all of our great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back. It is the June 12th edition, your drive for this Wednesday on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Colecats are back in action tonight. We've got the game coming up 6:50 right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Last night, Kenny Jackson, starting pitcher for the Colecats, he was dominant in the first 3 innings. He allowed 3 base runners on no hits, no runners in scoring position. Then second baseman Isaac Turner had a huge game. He turned 2 double plays in the first 3 innings. No one would actually get a hit until the top of the 4th inning when Avery Ortiz, the designated hitter, he hit a leadoff double to center field for the Flyboys, and then a hit by pitch and walk loaded the bases. A single by second baseman Nick Arias gave Greeneville a 2-0 lead. But Colecats did win. They would answer in the 6th. And after that, it would go the good guys' way. Michael Rodriguez, he would walk, and then Isaac Turner would hit a curving pop-up toward right field. And it was fair, and it landed right in front of the Flyboys' right fielder, Paul Taylor. Turned out to be an RBI triple. Deficits cut 2-1. Colecats then continue attack. Isaac Turner and Isaac Cadena. So Isaac and Isaac, sounds like a law firm, would earn a double steal on a failed rundown. Turner would steal home, and then Cadena would steal second, and the game would be tied 2 after 6. And then the Colecats take the lead for good in the 7th. And they, what they do, they take it by a, honestly, I think a exciting win for the Colecats, because this is the first time that they led in a game at home and then won the game. So we got a couple of things that we were looking for. We got a lead finally at home. They hadn't led yet at home. So that continues to be something that we're checking off. Okay, first home run, first lead, first win. So they got the first home lead in the 7th, and then they won the game. It was C.J. Richards scored on a Cooper McKenzie sacrifice fly, and so Parker Moore in relief gets the win. He went 3 hitless and scoreless innings and struck out 3. So the Colecats win the game. Now 3-2, 3-game win streak. Flyboys fall to 3-2, and they've lost back-to-back games. This was a team I thought would be pretty good coming in, and they are pretty good, but the Colecats, things seem to be going the right way. Now, after the game, Tommy Gregg talked about how impressed he is with the pitching, but he did point out, and he stressed that this team absolutely needs to get those bats going.
Well, I thought our pitching was fantastic. Kenny pitched 4 innings for us, sharp. He had that ground ball that we just couldn't make the play on, and you know, they scored 2 runs. But I like our offense. We're not getting a lot of hits, but we're manufacturing somehow, trying to score runs on their mistakes or just, you know, good base running. But our pitching is going to keep us in ball games. We just got to get the bats going. So.
Yeah, the pitching will take you far, but at the same time, you got to score runs if you want to win. And Tommy talked a little bit about that impressive shutout pitching performance from the bullpen. And, of course, not only manufacturing runs, that's important, but you got to sometimes manufacture defense, and the defense really stepped up in big plays.
I mean, when they come in, they're focused, they're locked in. They all have good stuff, and they're starting to trust their stuff. Our catchers are calling a good game, keeping them in the zone. You know, the things that get you into trouble are a lot of walks, and we haven't seen that. Now, we had a couple batters and we had a couple walks, but we were able to get back focused and get the other guys out behind. But yeah, we pitched well, we played good defense, and I mean, Isaac made that play. I think it was the first, second inning. We got the double play on that short hop ground ball. That was amazing. So defense and pitching will keep us in the game. We just have to hit.
It's real simple. You got to hit. I mean, he's telling the truth. It's simple. You got to hit. Isaac Turner, what a performance from him. He talks about how the bond and trust between each teammate was the main factor in this win.
It was just like a fun game, you know, just the team chemistry that we've built this past week. The team camaraderie has really, it helped us win that game. We were all there for each other. You know, some things went wrong at some moments, but the fact that we just all have each other's backs, that's what helped us win that game.
Sort of a turnaround from last week where they didn't win those first 2 games before they went on the road. So they've had some time now to be together. They're now a team. I didn't think those first 2 games were going to be indicative of what Coldcats baseball would be this week, next week. I think we're looking for some exciting few weeks here with the Coldcats. And, of course, back in action, we've got them tonight. 6:50 is our airtime from Jack Cook Field right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. One more thing that Tommy Gregg brought up about the Coldcats. Scoring runs, about manufacturing runs. He talked about that, but part of that is because they've got some really aggressive base running going on.
No, that's my style. I like to run. I like to be aggressive. I like to try to get that extra 90 feet. I like to try to steal runs first and third. It didn't work the one time, but it did the other time. We're still working on that. It should be an easy kind of steal of third base to home if it's done right. But yeah, I want us to be aggressive on the bases. We have some speed. Let's take advantage of it.
Why not? Go out there, get it done. Coldcats action tonight here. Again, ESPN 94.1 at AM 930. Pulaski takes on Kingsport tonight at 7 o'clock. It'll be Bluefield taking on Johnson City at 7. Bristol and Danville also at 7. And Burlington and Elizabethton, that's coming up at 7 as well. Appalachian League looks like this. Bluefield 5-1, followed by Danville at 3-2. Coldcats right there with Danville also at 3-2. Then Pulaski's 3-3, and then Burlington's 2-4. In the West, it's Bristol at 4-2. Greeneville dropping to 3-2. Kingsport's 2-3. Elizabethton is 2-4, and Johnson City rounding out the bottom at 1-5. More Appalachian League action coming up tonight, tomorrow, and the following day. Follow us along all season long right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. When we continue, we welcome to the program. It's been a few weeks. Ari Aganus, head coach of the Marshall volleyball team. Update on what's happening with her program. Schedule's out. Season tickets are available. We'll hear from her when we continue on today's edition of the show, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Get in the groove. Downtown Huntington's premier weekly music event is back. It's Mount West Ninth Street Live, presented by New Trail, Garage Beer, Big Truck, The Beast, La Marca Prosecco, and Matua Sauvignon Blanc. This Friday, it's College Career Center night with Jeremy Short and special guest Jace Turley on the Marshall OBGYN stage. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Gomart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy food and drinks from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sit Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Mark your calendar for June 21st for a ticket to ride to 9th Street Live, a celebration of the Beatles with the Newbies. Friday, August 2nd, 9th Street is Dead, featuring John Ingram's Dead Center and the music of the Grateful Dead. The Thundering Herd Rally is Friday, August 16th. 9th Street Live is driven by Yes Chevy, Yes Ford every Friday night through Labor Day. 9th Street in Huntington between 3rd and 4th Avenues. Sponsored by Delta Hotels, Marshall OB OBGYN, Wendy's, Mountain Mindful, City of Huntington, Marshall University, Impact Media, Xfinity, and Kindred Communications.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Buddy's All-American Barbecue is now in Milton. Enjoy all your favorite Buddy's classics like pulled pork, brisket, ribs, and more on East Main Street in Milton. Buddy's All-American Barbecue, the home of great barbecue, ice-cold beer, and killer wings in Huntington and now in Milton.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
Welcome back to the Wednesday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. I want to welcome to the program now. She's the head coach of the Marshall volleyball team. The schedule has been released, and that means season tickets are on sale now. Ari Aganus is with us. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well. It's been a busy day here at Marshall University. Obviously, a lot of positive things have been happening. Christian Spears, talking about everything earlier today about the state of the athletic department. Mentioned volleyball. I don't know if you were listening earlier. He did mention volleyball.
No, I didn't catch it yet.
Yeah, he mentioned it. He basically, in his address, talked about how we've got to do the things to make your program successful. So, I kind of asked him about it directly afterwards, and you haven't heard this yet, so I want to share this with you because I figured you would obviously love what he had to say. Here's Christian Spears addressing about what needs to be done to help Ari Aganus.
Last year it was about let's make sure we have the right facility, right? We weren't selling tickets. We were having fans attend, but it wasn't value attribution. We didn't care enough about it to staff it, to put courtside seating, to have a Terraflex court, to participate at the highest level. We have a Division I women's volleyball program. 4 teams made it from the Sun Belt into the NCAA tournament. Why can't we be one of those? So how do we invest in her and her program to show that we can do that? So we're on the rise. We're on the way. Now's the chance to join us before it happens. So I hope people find their way to the CAM for women's volleyball.
It's always nice to have the athletic director be your biggest cheerleader.
It is, and I think what's so great about him is he truly is like that with all of us. He believes in all of us and the staff that he's put in place between Deb and Andrew and Beatrice, and it's just unreal how much support we have, and then how much kind of say we have, but then also it's just transparent, and it's there, but to have any athletics director care about volleyball is a huge deal. To care about women's sports is a huge deal. And we are seeing it firsthand that he is saying it and he's 100% backing it up.
Is that really rare, or is that not the norm in other places you've been or across the country?
I think if you look at the context of women's sports in general, we've been fighting for a long time to be seen, to be heard, to be understood that it's the saying with the WNBA trying to get equal pay, not equal pay as the men, but like per their revenue, right? So we've been fighting this fight forever, and we'll still continue to fight it. So it's just, I would say it's not necessarily the norm. It's, you have to have football. Football has to run. Basketballs have to run. They have to operate at a high level, and none of us are trying to take anything away from the other sports or student athletes. We're just trying to get more for our own, right? We're trying to show that it's not just a check box to have another women's sport. It's a box that we are investing in.
Ari Aganus is with us, head coach of the Marshall volleyball team. The schedule is out. Season tickets are now on sale. 10-game home slate. Tickets start as low as $25 per seat with the purchase of the family pack. And I think that's a great deal because I've noticed there are a lot of families. It's not just individuals that are coming. These are really events that more families seem to want to attend together. If it's a father and daughter, if it's mother, father, son, daughter, whatever the combination may be, it's more of a family crowd than just maybe the individual coming.
Absolutely. And I think that's just what Marshall's all about, right? It's not just one person we're trying to get. It's the whole experience. We have, between our external staff, our marketing, promotions, have created events. It's no longer just go sit and watch. It is an event, and it's so cool because it's just fun. I take our son to just about everything we're able to make it to because he's not he'll pay attention to basketball pretty well, but the rest of them he doesn't pay attention to the best. So to be able to have the music and have Marco and have, prizes, and you just stay engaged. And I think that's step one. And then it's kind of like the Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. So you've got where the building is going on. And now every one of us has to win games to continue to get people to come back. Everybody wants to win, and everybody wants to support people winning. So it just, to have a fun atmosphere while doing that is just the icing on the cake.
We've talked about facilities, and Christian just mentioned facilities. Hey, what do we have to do to get this program moving forward? Where are you at now with everything? Is there still things that are in place or coming soon that you need in place? Where are we at as far as getting this program better and on par with all the other programs in the league?
I think we're a step ahead from some, not all. The Sun Belt, obviously, with 4 teams going to the NCAAs, Sun Belt volleyball has invested in volleyball. Having the Terraflex, last year or 2 years ago was a huge step. That put us ahead of some. The only thing that I'm always going to want, and I'm sure that Corny and Coach Folks are wanting it too, is air conditioning in the CAM, and that's still part of everybody's experience. It's not kind of sweating through September and August to try to watch games and stuff. But as far as the rest of the facilities go, you've got the Skaggs family practice facility that's a beautiful place for us to train, and it's something you're proud to go into, all of the renovations with the weight rooms, all of the training tables. So it's one of those things where it's a huge ask, right? So yes, we want that, but we are so happy with everything we have. We are very, very fortunate and blessed for the things we have.
And I'm curious, because you're easy to work with. You're at everything. You're supporting everyone. You were at Julie Folks' press conference. You rolled in with as many members of your team as you possibly could fit in the Henderson Center, and you're always there for everyone. What is that like working with basketball? You're sharing the same facility. You're in the same complex. You've got the same workspace. What is that give and take like working with those two programs and those two coaches and a new coach on the women's side? I mean, Corny's been around. He's the new coach now, but he's been there. So you've got that relationship. But now you have a new resident of the women's basketball program in Julie Folks. What's that give and take been like as far as working together and trying to make sure everybody's got what they need facility-wise?
Absolutely. It's pretty seamless. We've got Andrew Brown, that's the head of our facilities, that coordinates but makes sure we're all getting what we want. And we all just sit down. We sit down and talk through it and go through the dates and go through possible conflicts. And there's never once been we got to call the bosses in, there's never once been a space where we haven't worked it out. I believe strongly, and they do as well, that when we're in season, we have priority. When we kind of overlap a little bit, we just work together. And I think that especially having the Terraflex, unless it's a match that we have at home, we're up in Skaggs. And so I think we're not so much of a problem, or kind of like, but we just work together. That's just what all of this is about, because it's not, this is my time and the only time. It's like, okay, we have a conflict here. How can we do that? I'll give you this, you give me that, right? And they're just phenomenal programs to work with. And I think that we all want the best for all of our student athletes. And so it's putting up that fight of just being, you just got to work with people, right? We're all a part of teams. And so, yes, we have our individual teams, but our biggest team is Marshall. And so how do we work together so that everybody gets just about everything they want? If not, like, where can we find really good compromises?
Ari Aganus is with us, head coach of the Marshall volleyball team. The schedule is what we're here to talk about, and you've got the green-white game coming up on August 17th at 10:30 a.m., bright and early, because it's part of the week of welcome. And so you're going to have a built-in audience introducing, maybe for the first time, a lot of students to Marshall volleyball. And, of course, no better way to do that than a green and white scrimmage, because I'm sure that's going to be competitive.
Absolutely. And I think what's cool, too, is, yes, it works with, the week of welcome, and we love it. You go from us to the Rec Fest over to men's soccer. And I think that what also is great is in preseason, we play at 10:30. Like, we have 2 matches a day. So it actually really sets us up nicely for our preseason tournaments, to kind of get used to, like, okay, we've been up practicing at this time, but now how do we get up and compete and perform at this time? So it comes in really well for us to then start classes, and then the next weekend go ahead and start our matches there. So it's really good. It's exciting. It will be super competitive. We've got a lot of new faces coming in that they're just going to have to dog it out, and I think seeing those pieces of athletes is why we love sports, right? Is the competition, to see who's going to battle the hardest to get the W.
Which game is going to be the game with the screaming kids? Do we have that date yet?
I don't think so, because I don't know that we have any, like, noonish that I can think of.
You need
those
that.
Those are the ones where you get the screamers. No, it's, I'm hoping that all of them, especially, we've got a couple of matches where it's Thursday, Friday, and then football's home on Saturday. And so I'm just hoping that people can kind of stop by and make it just an event, because, like I've always said, all of our student athletes, we've got such a beautiful community, and all of our students just deserve people to come and watch them do their craft. And it's cool. It'll be exciting. It's going to be a tough schedule, and I think that the way the team worked this spring and what I believe they're doing this summer, it'll be really exciting on our end.
I hope we get a Screaming Kids date, because those are the best games. Absolutely. I mean, those kids outclass everybody. I mean, I don't want to put anyone.
100%.
Yeah, I don't want to put anyone on blast, but yeah, you have regular fans that are there, and then the Screaming Kids that just pierce your eardrums and the opponents. And I love how they're even louder behind the visitors' bench. They get it.
They know what they're doing.
And it seems like I've seen some of these games before in other streams. We have an afternoon game or a morning game, and you see kids at the other venues. I don't know if they get it as well, because I'm always deaf when I come to one of those things.
Yes. We've had one. We didn't play, but we were at a tournament, and my goodness, that the entire, like, stadium arena was just filled with kids. And I was like, and they just screamed. They had no clue what was going on. They just screamed the whole time. I was like, that is impressive. That is just an impressive windpipe they have.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere. Speaking of your schedule, you're going to be on the road a lot. You got the green and white scrimmages we mentioned, and then you're going to be at the Davidson tournament. You're going to be at the Eastern Michigan tournament. You're going to be at Toledo as well, and the UNC Greensboro tournament. Is that something that was a little bit more deliberate on your part to get them on the road early, a little adversity, or is that just scheduling quirk of this year?
No, it was 100% deliberate. I wanted to stay pretty regional. Toledo is going to be really exciting and important for us. Bryn Brown is from Toledo. Her mom and dad both played at Toledo, so that was kind of we knew we wanted to do that her senior year. And then the rest are just, I think that there's so much talent here in this region, and not having to go all over the place to play really top quality teams. And yeah, we need to be road warriors. We need to figure it out. We need to be comfortable being uncomfortable and, not having our own beds to sleep in at night. And because that's where we will win a conference tournament, is on the road. And we just got to get used to it really early, get used to winning on the road and not having our awesome crowd, and not having those kind of home court advantages. So yeah, definitely deliberate, and I think it will really work out in our favor. You get rid of all the distractions. It's good distractions are still distractions. And when we're on the road, you got school, you got that to figure out, and then your other focus is only volleyball.
Ari Aganus is with us, head coach of the Marshall volleyball team. The schedule is out. Tickets are on sale now. And as I mentioned earlier, there's a great plan. It's a season ticket package that starts as low as $25 per seat with the purchase of the family pack. But if you want to be a little closer to the action, you've got the courtside seats for the entire season that start at $200. How exciting is that seat going to be? It's not just your typical seat in the arena. You're right there. I know basketball, they can't keep those things from being sold out. Nobody's giving them up. Now volleyball's got that option, and what's that going to be like? I know it's going to be a different experience than basketball.
Absolutely. You're right there on the floor. I think for those that have followed volleyball, when you play club and other things, you're so used to being so close. And I think it just gives you, A, they're really comfortable seats. B, you're just right in it. I think that everybody wants to be right in the action. And last year, I think we did well. Like, I wish, obviously, we'd get everybody down there, because it is another home court advantage to get people kind of just heckling or even just sitting and kind of intimidating. And so I think if we can get people to get in those seats, they're definitely worth it for the matches that we have at home. But it's a lot different than basketball, and it is right there on the action.
So courtside seats start at $200. You can chirp all game long, and you can get under the skin of the opponent, and of course that always helps. You want to make this the toughest home court advantage in the Sun Belt.
Absolutely.
Anything coming on with you before we let you go? Anything coming up that maybe we missed we need to know about?
No, sir. We got camp. We got season. We are on the road recruiting. We are grinding and rocking here.
Ari Aganus, my guest. Good talking to you again. Always look forward to it. You're my favorite coach. I
do know that.
I have to remind everyone that there's some jockeying for position here. That happens.
Yeah. I just don't think anybody will be able to catch up.
Right. Have you explained that to Coach Folks yet? That, hey, look, there's levels to this?
No, I think she'll get it.
She seems pretty smart.
In her own time. She'll get it.
Yeah, she seems pretty smart. She'll understand. if not, I'm sure you'll put her in her place real soon, right?
Oh, Lord.
Ari, always a pleasure. Again, I'm a big fan of Ari Aganus, and I love having her on. Thank you, Ari. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
That's Ari Aganus, everyone. Get those season tickets now. You can sit courtside as well. $200, that's where it starts. And you can heckle all season long. Good schedule. You can find more on herdzone.com. We'll wrap the show up with a couple comments from Chris Grassie when we continue on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
You know how you love Wendy's Frosty more than any other Frosty in the world? Well, it's easy because nobody else sells a Frosty, but that's not the point. What if I told you there's a triple berry Frosty? Well, surprise! I'm telling you right now, it's the next great Frosty flavor from Wendy's. It's a whole new look and taste just for the summer. New triple berry Frosty just in time for summer? It's gotta be Wendy's, even midnight or later.
Limited time only. Participating Wendy's. Hours may vary by location.
Here's another Kindred Communications Community Chatter. The Cabell Huntington Health Department's conducting a series of evening vaccine clinics this summer. The dates are June 3rd, July 1st, August 5th, and September 9th, taking place from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the department. at 703 7th Avenue. No appointment is necessary. This Kenner Communications Community Chatter brought to you by the providers at Marshall OBGYN, online at marshallhealth.com/OBGYN.
Hey there, you and aisle 2. I see you by the fiber and laxatives. You still using those to manage your constipation with belly pain? If your symptoms keep coming back, you may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. So you may need more than over-the-counter treatments to manage it. Ask your doctor about how Linzess can help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
It's our final segment for today's Wednesday version of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Earlier today, we were over at Marshall for a combo state of the athletic department for the summer. We heard a little bit from Greg Beals. We're going to hear more from him tomorrow. We heard a little bit from Chris Grassie. So Chris Grassie getting an extension. Of course, the head coach of the soccer program with the 85, 35, and 17 mark. Also a national championship. Sun Belt champions, has led Marshall to the NCAA tournament in each of the last 5 seasons. So the Thundering Herd has built a strong program with soccer, and of course the extension is going to make him the second highest paid coach in Division I soccer. He's happy, he's where he wants to be. Earlier, after Mr. Spears' remarks, Chris Grassie addressed the media, and he spoke about just how happy he is, especially with the extension.
It's going to be great to get to continue to work here, to achieve, or to try to achieve the things that we set out for. I signed this extension because I'm excited. I signed this extension because we still have a lot more to achieve. You know, I think achieving the national championship victory was fantastic. I think we can do more, right? I think we can continue to grow the best college soccer program in the country. I think we can build soccer facilities. We can grow the stadium. We can inspire the next generation of soccer players.
250 new seats going to be added. That's a good start for the soccer program. Of course, you get the video board. That's part of the requirements to be in the Sun Belt, the certain facility requirements, and video board's one of them. And so you've got that's added to the facility. And Chris Grassie talked a little bit more about what is to come. He's truly excited about the prospects of being the head coach of the soccer team for years to come. So he talked a little bit more. What's to come now?
I said there's more to come. There's so much more to come from our program. We don't see this as like resting on our laurels. We don't see this as sitting back and saying, okay, we've got a comfy 7 years. We see this as what can we do for the Huntington area? What can we do for the Marshall community? How do we bring joy? How do we bring pride here? And then we see it as a challenge. You know, we want to redouble our efforts. We know we're going to continue to grow the program to meet the challenges of competing against the very best in the country. And so how do we step up our game? How do we get better? What do we do? What do we need to do to be better?
And he continued on. He talked a little bit about just the overall exciting vibe that's going on at Marshall. A lot of growth, a lot of development. Spears in his remarks pointed out that, look, we went from 10th in the standings to 5th. We don't want to finish 5th. We want to finish higher. We want to win the Commissioner's Cup. And so there's a positive energy that's happening at Marshall right now. And Grassie kind of highlighted a little bit of that.
It's an amazingly exciting time at Marshall, which is another reason I'm really happy and really thankful to sign this extension. You know, Christian's leadership is amazing, right? He gets it. He really, really just gets it. That's the best way to describe it. It's such a difficult time in college athletics, a time of change, right? But when there's a little bit of change and a little bit of crisis, that's when, you know, new heroes can come through. That's when new programs can rise to the top. And I feel like we are very agile and very well positioned to meet those challenges.
Now, a couple of things that he talked about after his statement portion of the address. One question was as far as the process. Who initiated it? I was curious. Was this something that you went to the athletic department and said, hey, I'd like to stay here a lot longer? Did the athletic department come to you? And he addressed that. That was something that the athletic department initiated.
Yeah, Christian and Deb came to me about a year ago. And so we've just been talking about it then. I mean, time just seems to fly by. You know, you blink and it's another season and another season. And had a couple of years left on my previous deal, so just kind of getting it tied up and picking a direction. It's been good for us, you know, as a family. We've had some interesting offers, you know, to go other places and leave, but we always kind of felt like this was our home. We have a great, you know, community, great friends. Our kids are happy. They're right over there, smiling. You know, it was just kind of the right decision, and then it was more seeing, okay, what are we going to do together? What are we going to do as a department? You know, with everybody's help, how can we grow? How can we make this have the best soccer training complex in the country? How do we have the best college soccer team in the country? What do we need to do to continue to be at the top? And all those things, I felt really comfortable that we're going to be able to compete. And, you know, that's all we need. Put us in the room, you know, give us a place where we can compete. We don't have to be number one, but let's get, you know, up there and you know, let's make the magic happen and see what we can do.
There was one more comment from him that we're going to not have time to get to, and he addressed the possibility of leaving. He qualified that and clarified that. He said, look, there were some offers out there. It never got to the point where I took them seriously. He basically indicated, yeah, there have been people who have approached me, have looked at opportunities that might fit what I do, and so really not a situation where it ever came to that where he was seriously considering anything. And so we'll leave it on that note. Thanks for tuning in. I want to thank our guest, Ari Aganus, for joining us today. Always a pleasure to talk to her. And the volleyball program schedule is out now, so season tickets are on sale. Our producer tonight is Ben Anderson. We thank him. Back with you tomorrow. It's going to be an abbreviated show, I think. We've got Pirates baseball earlier that afternoon, so we'll try to get on the air a little bit after 5 o'clock, so we're probably going to have an abbreviated show, or we're going to go long. I don't know which is going to happen, but we got so much to get into these next couple of days. So we'll have Pirates baseball, then we'll join the show afterwards, and then we'll have Coldcats baseball later that evening at 6:50. Coming up tonight, it's the Coldcats and the Flyboys, 6:50, right here at ESPN. Have a great night.
Retransmitting on Glorious FM on 94.1 W227BS Huntington. This is 930 WRBC Huntington, celebrating 100 years of broadcasting.